Would you buy such a fair and beautiful android for only $20,000? Appearance can be fully customized according to your preferences, and it will obey any command. This is AI company's brand new generation of androids. Just activated, she hasn't adapted to her body yet, stumbling and falling into the man's arms. Seeing his charming robot wife in front of him, the man's heart was filled with joy, carefully teaching her to adapt to her body step by step. In the evening, the man eagerly taught her various skills. After a night, the robot is almost out of power. To work the next day, she must charge all night. The next day, she prepared breakfast very thoughtfully, even changing bacon to corn considering the man's health. After the man went to work, she went to the closet to learn how to dress better to serve him. While charging, she enters a dreamland where she can learn various skills. When the man returns home exhausted, she tenderly asks him,
"Would you enjoy washing Meredith?"
The woman crossed the road. A few minutes ago, death prediction machine spat out a slip of paper saying her cause of death was old. Feeling great, she thought she could live to be 100, but unexpectedly, it turned out to be getting hit by an old person. Next guy's slip read, parachute failure. Confused, he wouldn't even consider getting on a plane. Next guy's slip said, hot girl. The guy was thrilled. On the beach, a hot girl with a great figure approached him.
Could you give it back to me?
Though he desired it deeply, thinking about his cause of death, he quickly distanced himself from the hot girl.
I'm not gonna bite you.
Look,
Next man's test result showed bear. He got rid of everything related to bears. He went into the forest, prepared to face his fear with the axe. However, until next day, he was completely unharmed. The man let go of all inhibitions. The mother is in labor, and suddenly the baby's hand reaches out, signaling the doctor to step back. Before anyone can react, the baby crawls out on its own, startling the doctor. Not seeing anyone cutting the umbilical cord, the baby grabs the father's tablet and searches for instructions online. Then he asks the nurse for scissors, surprising her. And with a snap, the cord is successfully cut. While the nurse helps her get dressed, he casually takes the nurse's phone. Turning on the camera, he takes a selfie with the nurse. The parents are incredulous, and after taking the photo, they even add beauty filters and effects. Then he jumps off the bed and crawls to the nearby computer. He opens a social media website, quickly registers an account, starts a live stream, and shares the entire process of his birth with netizens. The man went for acupuncture, his back filled with needles. The doctor temporarily left, instructing the man not to move recklessly. But just as the doctor left, the fire alarm rang. The man panicked, calling for the doctor, but there was no response. He had to carefully climb up and pick up his clothes but couldn't put them on. He had no choice but to pick up his pants and leave the room cautiously. Every step he took, the needles on his body were tugged. After finally escaping the building, he became the subject of everyone's mockery. He could only hold up his pants to cover himself. Then he noticed the doctor nearby and was about to approach for help. Suddenly, the announcement came over the loudspeaker that the fire drill was over. Everyone began to return, leaving him no choice but to painfully walk back upstairs. Luckily, he was alone in the elevator, finally able to relax. However, people started to trickle into the elevator one by one. In the future, running for poor people is illegal. The man commits a crime by jogging. A fully armed police drone drops a pair of silver handcuffs, demanding him to put them on within 5 seconds. The man has no choice but to obediently put on the handcuffs. In prison, those familiar with frequent prison visits know that personal items must be surrendered before entering. After his personal items are collected, he is given a standard prison uniform. The system guides him to find his assigned cell, and the handcuffs automatically unlock. To upgrade to a luxury suite, it only costs $75, but this holds no appeal for the man. His priority now is to find a lawyer to defend himself. However, even the cheapest lawyer costs $10,000. If he confesses within the specified time, the system will automatically reduce his sentence. If he refuses to confess within 7 days, he will be sentenced to 45 to 47 years. The system presents two options: confess or not confess. If no option is chosen within 3 months, it defaults to confessing. He has one chance to hire a lawyer, his only hope to leave here. He planned to call his mother to borrow money for a lawyer, but even making a phone call required waiting in line. He waited for hours but didn't get through, until the evening when the system's prompt woke him up. The call failed because it required $3 for the initial charge, but he only had $0. The consecutive setbacks brought the man close to breaking down, but there was still hope. In prison, he could earn money by knitting. Every day, a box containing crochet hooks and a ball of yarn would be delivered to him. After learning and effort, he finally finally knitted a baby hat. He handed the product to the window. Immediately his account increased by 20 cents. Turning off the lights to sleep cost money. Even food cost $1 per meal. As he became more skilled, the speed of his production also increased exponentially. To save money, he started sleeping with the lights on, only eating one meal a day, even holding back from using the restroom because it cost 30 cents. As he worked tirelessly day and night, the balance in his account began to soar. Finally, his account reached $5. The man could now call his mother to borrow money and hire a lawyer. The man in prison is on a call with his mother. Before he can even say hello, his account balance is rapidly deducted.
I need money for a defense lawyer. $10,000.
$10,000?
Before he can explain, the video call is forcibly disconnected due to insufficient funds. He completely breaks down, yelling at the screen. He loses hope, spends his days playing games to pass the time. Soon, the 3-month deadline arrives. The system asks him again if he pleads guilty. Plead guilty and accept a sentence of 45 to 47 years, or hire a lawyer to defend him. He suddenly notices an unread message on the screen, $10,000 transferred from his mother. He immediately applies for a lawyer, but things don't go as smoothly as he hoped. The lawyer says his case is complicated, and pleading guilty is the best solution. Then he hangs up the phone. Throughout, the man doesn't even know what crime he committed. That day, he just ran a few steps to save time, then was apprehended by a police drone. Now, the $10,000 is gone, and the lawyer didn't even give him a chance to speak. Feeling deceived, the man doesn't understand who sets these so-called rules. Just when the man was about to give up and accept everything, the system suddenly prompted that he was innocent and released. He could hardly believe his eyes, but the door was indeed wide open. The feeling of regaining freedom had already made him forget the absurdity that had happened to him. As his personal belongings were handed to him, everything seemed as if nothing had ever happened. But compared to all this, he just wanted to escape from there immediately. This is a highly controversial short film, where the prison represents those who set the rules. Under these rules, even if we work hard, we can only solve the problem of food and clothing, largely reflecting the bitterness of the lower class. When facing unfair conditions and being forced to comply, that sense of powerlessness is the most unbearable. The man wakes up every day turning into a paper man. Even brushing his teeth requires caution not to poke his head. He even gets taken for a kite by his dog when going for a walk. Playing football, a slight toss from his friends can send the man flying for miles. When he goes to buy coffee, the server is surprised to see him disappear when they turn around, only to reappear when the man turns back. Driving is difficult for him, as he struggles against strong winds blowing him away. Even at home, the vacuum cleaner targets him, nearly mistaking him for trash and sucking him up. Due to his unique condition, the man is invited for a TV interview, thinking it would be his moment of fame, but he faces ruthless mockery from the host. Feeling down, he approaches a vending machine, and using his ability, he slips inside and grabs some chips to eat. Miraculously, his body starts to expand and return to normal. Can you guess what this advertisement is for? The man puts his hand into his mouth, pulls out the tongue, puts a coin on it. He gives a strong push to his head, opens his eyelids, pokes his eye, then his clothes on the chest automatically open up. A food slowly rises and is automatically served in front of the man. The man licks his lips, directly throws a hook punch at his jaw. A set of utensils appears. The man can't wait to start eating. After finishing, his body begins to convulse, hands drooping, eyes tightly closed and motionless. Strangely, the man across wakes up, stretches lazily. He puts the instruction manual around the man's neck, picks up a pen, and draws a line on the wall before leaving. Shortly after, another man enters the room. He looks at the instruction manual. By now, the lines on the wall have become dense. There is an endless queue outside waiting for food. A meal is reused repeatedly, deceiving everyone. Can you understand the satire here?